by to hit us with a couple tips about that pick.
Thank you, Dash. So I did a lot of Heimerdinger research after Red Truffles. I talked to Heimerdinger, who's played 3,000 games on Heimerdinger, and I learned how complicated this champion is, but also how difficult he is mechanically. And I was tracking some of the things Altec was doing in game to kind of see how practiced he would be on it. So I'm going to go over some of the early game strategies you can do with Heimerdinger and then get into some of the later game ones. So even just at the start of the game, turrets actually give vision. So what you want to do is actually track 2 brushes at the same time, and you can keep walking back into turrets to refresh their vision. You see that thing going around? That means it's dead, but you wake it back up, and you're keeping the vision alive the entire time. Heimerdinger actually has a lot of vision, so you shouldn't necessarily have to face check with him. Interestingly enough, E grants vision over walls, so you shouldn't have to face check anywhere there. See, Dragon is right there. Or you can just place a turret over the wall to get the same effect. As far as the laning phase goes, you want to practice some of your W paradigms. So what a lot of people do actually, if you look at the way the skill shot works, is they try and make sure everything hits, but if you do that, it's able to miss. If you just widen it out a little bit, even at the same angle, you're still going to hit about 3 of them, and that's going to proc your area and your scorch. And one of the turrets early on in the game, or sorry, one of the missiles early on in the game, actually does about 55% of the damage that all of the missiles would. So in lane, this is something Altec was actually doing. You want to spread it out as much as possible, because then if one missile hits both, that's about 110% total damage. So that's the way you want to be poking in lane. But the more difficult parts of Heimerdinger actually come in with the turret combos. So you can see on this enemy dummy, every time a turret goes down, if it's in range, it hits a target dummy, and this white bar at the top slowly charges up into a beam. The beam does way more damage than the base shot, but if you land a grenade, you fully get a laser, or if you land all 5 missiles, you fully get a laser. And what Altec wasn't necessarily doing, but Heimerdingers like Hjarnan were, is they were knowing an E is going to land, placing a turret beforehand so the first shot is a beam. And it's actually harder than you would think, because the E is a long skill shot, and the Q has to be placed very close to you. So you have to frantically move your mouse back and forward while maintaining skill shot accuracy. And
harder than you think, but Jack can do it. So
on NA ping.
And here's the big combos actually. So one of the recommendations is, you see how small and slow the E skill shot normally is? If you ult it, not only does it bounce, it also doubles in size. So the main combo actually is an ulted E into a Q, but then on top of that, when the next thing's coming down, you will then WQ afterwards and get 3 beams total. But that's actually hard to do. I'm going to try and do it on the other side once my turrets regen. You got to keep track of that. You want to be able to get all of them off in a short succession so you get 3 beams. And I'm just going to try it once. Pulling this off in a game scenario is a lot harder than you would think, when you also have to track about who's coming towards you, what your initial cooldowns are, aiming your skill shots. So it's definitely very hard. And I didn't see
it's not a
Altec,
static target.
I didn't actually see Altec pull this off once in the game. So you're going to ult your RE, then I'm going to Q, then I'm going to W, and I'm going to Q again before it lands. So let's try this. It's this, and then this. And you see the arrow is slow on the second turret.
Okay.
So the second turret didn't beam, but if you do it properly, you get the second turret to beam. And then the final little things you can watch is things you're only going to learn after a lot of Heimerdinger time, like if you're stealing objectives. What most people try and do is they will ult their W into the objective to get all the waves. Look at the damage. That's about 937 damage. I missed a few missiles because it's actually fairly exact.
Right.
If you ultimate your E and put it in the right place, it can triple hit on every single bounce, and then you can put your in afterwards.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's actually about 2,000 damage, double the amount of damage. So that's just an example of a few of the difficult combos you can put off, a few of the vision things you need to be trying to play. And even after 3,000 games of Heimerdinger, Heimerdinger was still learning things like turret snapshotting your AP based on your celerity. And you can make a 30-minute video just about the little tips and tricks from Heimer. So even though players are playing it right now, like Altec, who is a pro player, it's going to be a while until they're playing it at the top level.
It's
and we're going to step away from Brank right now, but when we return, it's going to be 100 Thieves versus TSM, so don't go anywhere and keep practicing Heimer.